CO Negada. We are here to do the Rules Committee meeting. We're starting at 1:01. I can't believe I'm late, Denise. That's not like me.
Surprise.
So, at this time, we'll call this meeting to order and ask Counselor Snell, would you please bless the meeting?
Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. Lord, thank you for our meeting. And Lord, bless all of our visitors that's here today. And just be with us, Lord, and give us wisdom and strength and ability to conduct our meeting. And just thank you, Lord, for everything. And be with us, Lord, as we continue through this day and continue on our route home tonight. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Amen.
Amen. At this time, we'll do roll call. Shelley?
Yes, sir. Joe Berg.
Honey?
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Gil England.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker. Carly Belcher. Tom Crittenden.
Honey.
Don Garvin. Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Wade.
Honey.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. David Thornton.
Honey.
Victoria Vasquez.
Honey.
David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll entertain the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Dropping down to reports. Marshal Service, Mr. Shannon Buell.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Besides the report, I was just informed that we were going to have a meeting in Kenwood on Saturday to talk to the community about sexual assault, different abuse stuff. We're going to have hot dogs and just have a community day of it. We've had to reschedule that to May 27th. There's going to be some pretty substantial storms in the area on Saturday. And so if you've got that email, you'll be getting a new email, but it'll be the 27th of May from noon to around 12:30, 1 o'clock. We're going to have a member from the AG's office there talk, us, our victim witness people, and if anybody wants to come out, more than welcome. But I wanted to get that out there in case you had an email saying that it was going to be this Saturday. It's been postponed to May 27th. So, other than that, are there any questions about my report?
Any questions for our marshal? Yes, Counselor Crittenden.
How you doing, Shannon?
Good, sir.
I had someone inquiring. It sounded like a pretty good idea. Some of the hotbed places that the marshals go. I bet it'd be Delaware and Adair and just some of those. Mentioned they used to have a sub office in Stillwell where they seemed to think the response time was a little better. And
Well, I can tell you that I was here when we had that sub-office, and the problem was we moved to a non-24-hour marshal service at that time. So that means from about 1 o'clock in the morning to about 6 a.m. there was nobody out. That doesn't really work very well if you're in trouble at 3 a.m.
oh, it was a
Marshal-wide. So it allowed some stuff like that to do. That's not a good model for what we have. We need to be 24/7. We need to be there. And the problem with sub-offices, one, you have to staff that sub-office, and we don't have the staffing. Two is you got to keep it up and got to keep people there. It doesn't happen when we have 3 or 4 out for the entire 14 counties. So, if I had 200 officers, and I'd probably have a southern sub-office and a northern sub-office. But the manning that we have, there's no way we can staff. So what we do is that community give us a facility. We would never be there. They'd come in and use the restroom or something like that. And it's not conducive to the manning staff that we have now.
he mentioned that, constituents would come by, be a good place to visit. And I guess we can talk about it later.
I think it'd be a fantastic idea. I just don't have the staffing to staff the thing. I mean, they'd come by and there'd be a locked door, so.
All right, I'll let them know. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Counselor Buzzard?
Yeah, and on the patrol over at Carmel Hospital, have we ever worked anything out?
No,
either
not at all.
feds? So it's still just,
It-
is it in negotiations or just?
Not at all.
Just a
It,
dead policy?
it is up to Claremore Hospital
Okay.
to pay the Federal Protective Service to do their job. I can't help it that Claremore Indian Hospital just doesn't want to give up that money to pay that federal entity to do protection there, but that is their job, is to do that. There's no way the U.S. Attorney is going to let us do it. Absolutely not.
Let me ask you this question then. By being a marshal, are you like a U.S. Marshal?
No, not at all.
Okay,
No.
that's what I've had asked.
Okay.
I know we have, of course, I know
We have
a marshal.
We have a marshal on the U.S. Marshal
Not
Task
federal.
Force, right. We have a marshal on the task force, but they don't even do that.
Okay.
It's the purview of the Federal Protective Services, which is a federal entity that's designed to protect federal buildings, federal locations, but that entity has to pay for that. So Claremore Indian Hospital would have to pay the Federal Protective Services to have officers there, like other federal buildings.
Yeah, and you can't be cross-deputized
I can't do
with
it.
that type of services.
No,
either.
not at all.
Have
Even
you
if-
tried- Have you tried it though?
Even if they wanted to pay us, we couldn't do it, so, yeah.
Someone else?
Absolutely not, cannot be done.
Thanks, sir.
Good. Anybody else? How many do we have on staff?
34.
34. Just visiting with the Eastern Band Cherokees, and they have almost 80 on their force.
We are, by the BIA's calculation last year, we're the lowest staffed tribal police department per capita in the entire nation. We're last.
But you might want to take a look at what the numbers, what would be efficient with the jurisdiction that we have.
BIA did a study on that. At a minimum, we should be at 86. At optimum, we should be at about 243. I have 34. But I don't want to,
I know,
I don't want to come to this body and think that I'm trying to get money, because I am not.
well, we don't
there-
have any right
yeah.
now, so.
There's a lot that goes into the hiring process, the manning, the equipment, training, just the logistics. So, you know, if I was going to give you my 20-year plan, it would be preferably to double the marshal service in 20 years.
Yeah.
If you came to me tomorrow and said, I'm giving you $100 million to hire 100 marshals, I would probably make you mad, because I probably couldn't get it done in the time frame that you'd want to get it done. So we do very well for what we have. Okay, we really do. I have
What
no.
probably makes that so unique here in Tahlequah is because of the university security. We have the city, the county, we have all these schools real near to us. Sometimes they have security. So the law enforcement in this particular area is probably more or better than most places.
Well, I don't want to say doom and gloom, because we're also number one in Indian country on agencies that are cross-deputized.
Okay.
So we're number one on that. So where a lot of agencies can't cross or won't cross with local law enforcement or county offices, so they can't use those local officers or county officers, we're able to do that. So yes, we have 34, and these are phenomenally talented men and women that I have, every single one of them. But we increase our numbers by those cooperative partnerships around our 14 counties. If it wasn't for them, there's no way we could come
Sure.
and do our job. So
Okay.
those cross deps that we have are critical to the safety and security of Indian country. And so, yeah, we're on the bottom on one side, but on the other side, we have established ourselves in a way that we can have those good, long-lasting cross-deputization agreements that is a force multiplier. That, you know, yeah, I come in and I say I have 34 officers, but I really, you know, in an emergency, I have about 200 in Cherokee County when you look at all the different state
Sure.
and local agencies. So that's a good thing that we have here at Cherokee Nation that other tribes necessarily don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why we can do the jobs that we do with 34 people.
Yeah, we're talking about good relations there. Yes, Counselor Buzzer.
Just a quick question, Shannon. Out of your officers, what percentage are Cherokee or Native?
All of them are native.
Okay.
I think I have two or three that are non-Cherokee.
You have about 90-some%.
Yeah, I can get you those. I can get you the actual
Okay.
numbers
No,
if you'd like. So, yeah, it's always important to us that, number one, try to find good Cherokees, because when you're out in those communities, when you're in Kenwood, when you're in Adair County, when you're in areas, you want to at least start off the conversation that we're the same tribe. So that's critically important to us.
Just that word OCO or CO makes a lot of difference.
Makes a lot of difference. And yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thank you. Good report. Office of Attorney General, Mr. Todd Hembry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. First, as you all, I'm sure know, the Cherokee Nation was dealt a major blow this past week with the passing of Judge Bart Fite. Judge Fite was an excellent judge, a great attorney, but even a better person. I have known him for 25 plus years. He gave respect to all, regardless of their position in life when they entered into his courtroom. It was truly equal justice for all under him. I will miss him as a friend, but the Cherokee Nation will miss him as a judge. And Mr. Chairman, if we could have a moment of silence, I would appreciate that.
Yes, a moment of silence for our judge. Thank you.
The major news from the Cherokee Nation Attorney General's office, as I know you have heard, is the filing of the opioid lawsuit case. This is a culmination of months of preparation. It is the first of its kind suit in the nation where in this suit, we are bringing a cause of action against the distributors of opioids and the retailers. We are the first Native American tribe to bring an opioid case, and we are the first to bring it in our tribal jurisdiction. This is literally a life or death situation for Cherokee citizens. It's an epidemic that is sweeping the nation. Just yesterday, the Oklahoma Attorney General announced the formation of the Oklahoma Commission on Opioid Abuse. A.G. Hunter stated, and I quote, "Oklahoma is in the midst of an opioid epidemic. If we're not at ground zero, we're certainly close to that. From the information and statistics that I've seen, we haven't even started to see the worst of it yet. If nothing is done, we're going to continue to lose friends, family, and loved ones to addiction and overdose." Attorney General Hunter is right, and the Cherokee Nation is doing something. And like many, many times in the past, the Cherokee Nation is leading from the front. We are setting the mark, not just in Indian country, but for but nationwide. It took a lot of people to put this together, and I'm proud of this action, and I'm proud of the members of the Attorney General's office who made this happen. I want to specifically acknowledge, and if you could please stand, Chad Harsha from my office, John Young, and Chrissy Nemo. Now, I will now turn this over to First Assistant Chrissy Nemo, who will talk to the details of this action and answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say before we get started, as you all know, this is pending litigation, so there may be questions that I can't answer in this forum. You're tribal counselors, you're entitled to just about any information that exists in the Cherokee Nation, so there may be specific questions that I say we have to talk about that offline, or there are documents that we can get you later. But I know you've all received the petition. I believe that Communications sent you our press release. I know there's been lots of media stories about this case. And then the AG's office sent a document, I believe yesterday, where we attempted to answer some of the questions that have come up. So if there are any specific questions for me, I would be happy to entertain those.
Counselor Buster?
Well, I do want to make a comment about what the Attorney General said. Something has to be done. This is getting to be completely out of control. It not only affects my family, but it probably affects almost everybody sitting in this room today. So I'm happy that we're taking the first steps on getting something done. I just hope that we're successful in work. Now, my question, I guess, is are we having outside attorneys to help us with this case?
We are, and if you look at the petition, the people, I will tell you, our office was very, very involved in this. We have spent months of preparation. We had to rely on other departments within Cherokee Nation as well. When you read the complaint, you see numbers about Indian child welfare and health statistics and human services. We've been talking to other employees of the Cherokee Nation, interviews, collecting documents, and that type of thing. We do have outside counsel. One of the firms, Sonosky Chambers, which I think you all recognize, they've represented Cherokee Nation for over 20 years. So there's no political issue going on here. This is a firm that has helped multiple administrations. They've been very successful in some of our contract support claims and indirect costs. They do exclusively Indian country work. One of the other firms that's involved, Boyd Schiller, if you simply Google them, they're one of the largest, most well-respected law firms in the country. This is the type of work that they do. They are experts in the area that we're not. We have 10 attorneys in the AG's office, who are all Cherokee, by the way. I think that happened about 2 years ago for the first time. We were always Native, but we had a few that were non-Cherokee, but we're all Cherokee now. I would put our staff of 10 attorneys up against any Indian law firm in the country when it comes to Indian law and specifically Cherokee Nation law. But we're not necessarily experts when going after big corporations and talking about business type, and so we have brought in folks to help us do that. One of the questions that came up, and one of the questions that always come up in this type of litigation, is how much does this cost? Because we all know that attorneys are expensive, and as we've now communicated with you, and as often the case in tort litigation where you're not suing under a specific contract to recover money, law firms routinely take these on what we call a contingency fee, that they agree if we recover money, they get a portion of that, and it changes on whether or not you settle out of court, whether or not you go to trial, whether or not there's a jury trial. The percentages may differ, but the outside counsel that is working on this case along with the AG's office are all on contingency fees.
Well, I just think I think this brings a lot of attention to the Cherokee Nation. The Cherokee Nation has this problem, there's no doubt about it. The other thing the committee members here probably know is we have people in mental health services that takes care of some of these items like this, but we don't have anything, we don't have a place to send them to. They contract it out and they send them to Missouri, Arkansas. So this is going to shed more light on what we really need to be doing here as a tribe also. So I just want to make those comments. Thank you, Mr. Sheriff.
Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Watkins, too.
So you say the cost is this outside firm, are they paying for our time and effort into this, or is the Cherokee Nation paying for it?
As far as the attorneys in our office working on it, no, that's something that is, we're all salaried employees, and it doesn't matter if I work 4 hours a day or 12 hours a day, I get the same amount of money, and we work on these cases as well as others. So there is some actual cost in that we have attorneys in our office working on this, just like we do any other type of legal matter. So we're not getting, there is no exchange of money happening with this case. We're not paying outside attorneys, and they're not giving money to us to do this. We're just all working together on the case.
Okay. We made some good comments, Cherokee Nation did, on this issue on opioids. It is a big epidemic we have in our tribe, and there's many of us in here that's been talking about, once you just get our own behavioral health center and have the Cherokee Nation help control the substance. But let's go back to the origin of all this. We're pointing a finger at a lot of people, And so we have a lot of healthcare facilities and we have a lot of healthcare providers. My question is out of those healthcare providers, how many prescriptions have they produced that are opioids?
Well, that's,
And then
that's
what-
obviously something we can't talk about
And
here.
then what's the definition of opioid?
Um,
It's tramadol. Tramadol was, a couple years ago, wasn't considered a painkiller. And we would give 3,000 to 4,000 per clinic per day. And it wasn't
don't-
considered in, no, I
Counselor
mean,
Walking Stick, I would caution talking about numbers in pending litigation. Tramadol is an opioid. There are degrees of opioids. There are levels of them. What we do believe, and we've talked to our health system extensively. We've worked with several of our providers and administration in health, and we believe, and I think you all agree with this because I know that we sometimes hear complaints about this. We believe that Cherokee Nation for many years has been on the forefront of attempting to restrict access to opioids except in those situations where they are medically necessary. That it's been known that Cherokee clinics are not places that you can go if you just want to get some pain pills. And we believe that our system and the integrity of prescribing medication is and has been for many years one of the best. So we don't think that we are part of the problem. We think the problem are these distributors and these pharmacies that are pushing millions of pills into this area when they know that the number of pills coming into this area based on the population in this area just doesn't add up.
I respectfully disagree with you. I have I have family members and friends that are addicted to pain meds that get them through our hospitals and get prescriptions through our providers. And so,
And we do. I'm not saying, and to be correct again, we can't talk about numbers or prescriptions, but we do
again,
provide opioids.
My point is, we're pointing the finger, and we're part of the problem.
I don't know that we're part of the problem. We're part of the system. I don't know that we're part of the problem.
Okay, and so this lawsuit, if we get it, great. I'm glad that it's not costing us any fees besides what we're paying our attorneys. But I just don't want to get into a situation where they end up coming back. These companies end up coming back and they countersue us. Say you guys are part of the problem.
Well, they don't. First of all, they can't sue us without we're.
I know we're sovereign.
We're sovereign.
And
We're not
we
waiving
haven't
sovereign
waived sovereign
immunity.
Yeah.
They may claim. I mean, this is something. If this thing goes to trial, this is the type of thing that comes out. And what I can again assure you is that we believe that our system is not part of the problem. Again, we're part of the system in that we are healthcare providers and we provide pain pills to people that need them, but when it comes to the numbers and the volume, we know what will be shown eventually is that we're some of the best, and that the problem are these huge companies that they want to sell as many pills as possible, and these pharmacies that want to fill as many prescriptions as possible, and they turn a blind eye to existing rules and regulation that should slow some of this medication. Because they want to make money. And again, anyone involved in the healthcare system is part of the system and part of the process. But there are specific bad actors that are the problem, and we think that the people that we've sued are those problem actors.
Speaker, I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Good. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Lay?
Thank you, Speaker. Chrissy, can you tell us what the percentage of that contingency fee will be, or?
That's confidential. As tribal counselors, you would have access to those records, but it's something that I can't share in a public forum, and it's something that the documents themselves can't be public. But if you're interested, I think you can request that through a GRA.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Critton.
Chris, I was just going to ask you, just to make sure I understand. I've been reading over this. Now, these people can't get these drugs, supposedly, without a prescription, right?
Well, we know that people do get them without a prescription.
Right. But I'm just wondering where, kind of what Councilor Walkenstick is saying, where the writers of these prescriptions that these companies are filling, you know, where does that fall into it? I just, at this point, don't see all of the blame on these companies.
Well, we know,
you know
and,
what
I
I'm
mean,
asking?
just when anything that you read about or look into this problem, you know, there have been stories in this area of a handful of doctors, not our doctors, but doctors in private practice that are, you know, they're known to be pill mills and writer. There have been people who've had criminal charges filed against them. The other thing is, you know, you say they have to have a prescription. Doesn't mean it comes from a doctor. One of the areas where diversion happens are people fake prescriptions, and pharmacists and pharmacy technicians in these commercial pharmacies are supposed to be trained to know the difference between real and fake prescriptions, to know what are those that are medically necessary and not fill those that are suspicious. And part of our allegations, when you read the complaint, is that these pharmacies fill prescriptions that they know that they shouldn't because they're trying to make money.
That's not good.
Right, and so we know that there are problem physicians. They're usually individuals. A lot of those folks are prosecuted. Again, there was a recent story of arrest, I believe, in Sequoia County of a physician who was prescribing mass amounts of pills to people. But it's not, you know, there's this understanding that, well, you have to see a doctor and you have to get a prescription before you can get these pills, and that's not the truth, and that's not the way that this works.
That's what high school was.
Right.
Yeah.
Another area of diversion is theft. You know, pharmacies have employees who steal pills and sell them because the resale values of these on the street are so high. So it's not fair to say, well, some doctor had to write this prescription, because we know that there are a lot of other ways that these pills get into the hands of people
Yeah, you can say that
who
with
don't have
alcohol,
legitimate.
and you can say
Right.
that with a lot of things, right? So I support that there's a problem, and I'm glad that we're addressing it. Didn't just sit 100% with me when I seen it, on the theory, the number of opioids shipped to and prescription filled in the Cherokee Nation. And again, I'm kind of like Councilor Walkenstick, in the Cherokee Nation. I would just assume, you know, I know my folks, when they go to the doctor, probably a huge percentage are going to Cherokee Nation facilities. So it's just, you know, some things, like I said, some things come to me and it's like a yes, no, black or white. There was some questions, and appreciate you answering. Thank you.
Good. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Austin.
In that, he was just referring to the number of pills. There was a statute said in there, something about 900 some odd pills per man, woman, and child, correct? Which would mean my little 4-member household would have 4,000 pills last year.
And you don't,
And I
right?
don't.
So that means that
somebody
someone
else
else
is getting
has double that. So that means some other 4-person household has 8,000 pills.
Well, I know if I had if I'd gotten a water bill this month that said that I had used 5 times as much water as normal, I'd go investigate where all that water's going to. Because it's doing damage someplace, or I'm getting overcharged. That's what I'm seeing here, is we've got way too much supply coming into our system. Where's it going, and why are those folks who are shipping it not saying, wait a minute, 4,000, there's no way that much can be going to legitimate purposes in that population.
And that is one of the absolute basis of this lawsuit, that these distributors, McKesson, AmerisourceBergen, that they get an order for an amount of pills to an individual pharmacy within the 14 counties that is not proportional, for a lot of reasons. Either it shoots up all of a sudden, or, you know, some new place opens and it's for a number of pills that any reasonable person looking at that area, and there are federal rules on, you know, the number of pills shipped and what they have to pay attention to, things that they should be reporting to federal and state agencies if they notice those types of things. And those are our allegations, that you knew this you knew this based on the number of pills you were shipping. Pharmacies, you knew this based on the number of prescriptions that you were filling, that many of these pills were being diverted to illegal streams, and that was harming our people. And that is the basis of the suit.
Well, that's as I understood the basis, and that's how I equated it with my water story. I go investigate when I notice a leak.
But if you were billing for that water and it increased, you might not go investigate as long as someone kept paying the bill, because you were making money.
Okay, anybody else?
I got it, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Counselor Buzzer?
Read in a report on the court case against Johnson & Johnson. It's going to go back to state court. Did I read that right? It's going to be heard in state court.
I'm not sure which case you're referring to.
It's, and I don't know how to say the word. It's for pills that we've been taking for autism. The case that the Cherokee Nation has filed, and Johnson & Johnson is one of those.
The one we filed one in Sequoia County that the defendants attempted to remove to federal court, and it's going to remain. It's all jurisdictional arguments at this point, but yes, it will remain in Sequoia County.
In state court?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why was that it removed from federal court?
They attempted to argue, so in federal law, if parties are diverse, meaning they all come from different states, there's a federal law that says you can take that to federal court for fairness reasons, because if we're from Oklahoma and they're from Florida and we're suing them in Oklahoma, they would maybe argue that Oklahoma courts aren't fair. The issue is whether or not a tribe, for the purposes of determining diversity, is a person or an entity that causes that to be removed to federal court, and they said no.
This case has been going, for a couple of years now?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Thanks, sir.
Good. Yeah, Counselor Garvin?
Chrissy, there's a lot of drug companies that sells drugs in Oklahoma. I don't suppose you know how many companies there are.
I don't. What we do know is that the three that we named as defendants are responsible, I believe, for 85% of the opioid distribution in the state. So these are the ones that are responsible for the majority of the pills that are shipped into Oklahoma.
Which company sells the most pills in Oklahoma?
I believe it's McKesson of the three listed, but I don't know that for sure.
They seem to be doing the right thing, that company.
No, that's the one that's one of the defendants that we're suing, alleging that they're not following the rules that are already in place when they're shipping these pills to pharmacists.
Do you know the owners of this company?
No. I mean, it's a publicly traded corporation. It's a big nationwide, billions and billions of dollars a company. One of the reasons that these types of lawsuits are beginning to happen, talking about the worth of these companies, they've all been fined by federal and state governments, and some of those fines are tens and even hundreds of millions of dollars, and it still hasn't changed their behavior, because they're so big and they make so much money off of this that even if they have to pay $100 million, it's not enough to make them change their behavior. So that's why you're seeing tribes and states and county governments suing them, because if they're sued by every state in the country and every tribe in the country, then maybe they might start changing their behavior a little bit. Right now, they're paying fines, and it's just a slap on the wrist to them because they make so much money off of people with these drugs.
Also, did this case coming up, did it affect the stock market and their stock?
I haven't heard. It's a good question, but I don't know. It's something we can look into.
Good. Okay. Counselor Lake?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chrissy, not this case, but other cases that we're involved with, the nation's involved with, we used to get updates on them. I haven't seen one lately. Could you relay that message?
Sure.
That would,
and I think it's because nothing's really, sometimes these things drag out for a couple of years, but we can definitely prepare a report for you all just on our, well, we can give you an update as a written material on where current cases stand. We can absolutely do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Counselor England?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chrissy, has this drug company, have they oversupplied us, our clinics, with these drugs?
Again, we believe that what's going to what's going to be shown when we get in discovery on these cases is that we're not the problem. That it's commercial enterprises. We don't, it costs us money to give medication to our people. We don't make money off of it. That alone, I think, is one of the differences that you see between our pharmacies in our clinics and our hospitals versus commercial pharmacies. And we do not believe that we are the problem. We do not believe that we are over-prescribing to our patients.
That was just the only question I had. I want to make sure our clinics are not over-prescribing our services. So it sounds like they're not.
Yes.
Who's the largest provider to our clinics as far as these drug companies?
I would guess that it is McKesson because they have the federal government contract. And again, these are things that are alleged in our suit, so we're not talking about anything that's not known here. The way that we get medication at our facilities is we order it. It's actually through the Veterans Administration contract. So the federal government contracts with drug companies in order for federal health facilities to be able to buy prescription medication. And tribal health clinics that are IHS funded are able to access those contracts. So McKesson is the pharmaceutical distributor that has the prime contract for VA and IHS, which means all of the medications that we order that they have the contract for, they are the supplier for us and all other Indian Health Services and all other federal health, which the big one being VA hospitals.
I visited with Jeff Sanders. He's over our pharmacy and about this suit. And, he was very proud of the fact that they do police the pain drugs in all the clinics, and they only keep a certain amount to be sure that we aren't abusing, our people's not abusing the drugs. And what I refer to as us being part of the problem is our providers prescribing pain, and that was the data I like to have, is the prescriptions and the number of pills that our providers have prescribed. Not saying that we actually give them the pain meds, but they are probably going to these outside pharmacies and getting the medication they're needed. But
I think that's rare. I mean, those are the types of things that we talked about with our internal folks when we were preparing for this. And I know that does happen, but I think it's not a common occurrence. And most people who receive health care at Cherokee Nation facilities also receive their medication at Cherokee Nation facilities. There are certain situations where there are certain medicines that we just don't carry for various reasons. And if someone wants those and they can't get them, a Cherokee Nation physician can give them a prescription, and they can, if they have insurance, they can go to a commercial pharmacy. If not, if they have the cash to pay for it. But as you know, most people who are using our health services don't have the ability to go pay additional money for something that's not offered in our facility. So again, I think that can and does happen, but I think it's pretty rare. And I think we do keep a pretty tight handle on all of our controlled drugs that are prescribed.
do you see any repercussion of us suing our major provider in all of our clinics by suing them?
They're still bound by the contract that we order under. I'm sure they don't like it, but nobody likes to be sued. But there's no issue with them, suddenly cutting off supply to us or anything like that. They're under contract with the federal government to supply under that contract as ordered.
And who's Curtis Brule? Who's the guy that's?
He's a private attorney. He's Cherokee. He's I believe the one outside counsel that is Cherokee. He's worked with us on some other cases where we've had some good results, and this is an area that he's knowledgeable in. So he's a private practice attorney, I believe, in the Oklahoma City area that is working on this as well, with the same type of agreement that we're not paying him anything. He gets some percentage in the event that we get money from the defendants.
Are you going to share that with the council?
You would need to do a GRA because that's a confidential document that has to be.
I don't want to go into depth. You guys have it offhand. I'll just be.
I think we have to share it pursuant to a GRA to ensure that it remains confidential.
Okay. Thanks, Speaker.
Yes. Do we still have prescription medication coming out of Ada? At one time, IHS had a warehouse there where we got most of our,
I don't know. I know their big warehouse in Oklahoma is in Oklahoma City. I don't know that if there's still one in Ada or not.
okay, that's where we used to get all of our prescription medication at one time. And I always asked why we didn't have one with all the health facilities that we had, so we could control it a little bit more.
Well, and if IHS, I mean, those are IHS facilities,
Sure.
but if they built one in the middle of Cherokee Nation, they wouldn't have as far to
Sure.
ship all those medicines. Probably
Well,
save them some money.
We appreciate what you're doing. You know, someone has to take a stand, and we may be one of the very few entities that can control what comes into our areas here. So,
We are
good luck and-
really proud of this. We worked really hard on this,
Yeah.
and this is groundbreaking lawsuit for Indian country, and it's something that you all should be proud of too. That as Todd said, we are, as we often do at Cherokee Nation, we are leading the way on this, and I would not be surprised at all if we don't see other tribes
Weigh in.
in states that aren't doing this following suit to try to help their population as well. So we're really
Okay.
proud of it, and we thank you for your support on it.
Good. Good report, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have William Terrapin.
Good afternoon. So far, we've only had 2 FOIA requests for this year and no GRAs. And our website's been updated, and if you go there, you'll notice there's a little bit of a change because we're only allowed to put so much information on there. So that's why right now it has changed from the way that it was before, but all of the reports are all on there.
Okay, any questions for Gwen? You're doing something right there, Gwen. Keep up the good work. Okay. Your report, I got a call from the Election Commission, said the report is in your packet. I know they're really busy over there. We'll let them stay busy, and I know we have a commissioner here, but unless you have any specific questions, we'll move on to the next report. Tax Commission. Sharon's always got some good news.
Good afternoon. I do believe you have my report, and I'll try to address any questions that you might have.
You gave us all that money 2 weeks ago to the schools, and they're all smiling.
That's good.
That was great timing. Appreciate that, you and your staff,
Thank you.
for making it happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Staff works hard.
Yes. Anybody? Good report. Okay,
Thank
Counselor
you.
Lay, hold on.
Oops.
The folks who picked up the checks in my area said they were gonna rush right back home, put them in the bank, and I told them they didn't have to worry about it. It's not a state check. Sharon Sweat's.
It's good. You're welcome. Thank you.
Good, okay. And we have our self-governance lady in Spokane somewhere. She wants to be Northwest Tribe, Klamath or something, I think, that we'll get her back. Gaming Commission?
I
Yes.
do want to speak to self-governance. When I read her report, I had a lot of questions. I sent her email. She answered them just right away, so I appreciate that.
She's pretty good
Just
hand.
wanna
That's
say
why
that.
we recruited her.
Yep.
And speaking of a good hand, Jamie Hummingbird.
Good afternoon. Glad for you all to see me. I'm hoping that my report made it in. If not, I throw myself at your mercy. Otherwise, I'll answer any questions you may have.
We've missed you.
I've missed you too. I do apologize for not being here the last couple of times. In March, we were having our National Tribal Gaming Commissioners Conference up in Tulsa at that time, and in February, I've slept since then. I cannot remember what I did, but I had a good reason.
Any questions for Mr. Hummingbird? Well, your report stands on its own there. Thank you.
very
Good
much.
report. Human Resources, Nason Morton. I saw him wandering about back there.
Is there anybody from the Election Commission here or no?
We already went through that. Nason, is he back there?
Are they here, Joe?
Just take my word for it. Would you mind, council, if we switch the new business items and move them up front so we can get some of these appointments out of the way?
Mr. Chair, I would like to ask to amend the agenda to add a new item, business item, and it's
Okay.
the appointment of Bartow. Everyone has a copy of the resolution in front of them.
Okay, we have that number. Is that, you
And
got
that would
number
be-
6?
That would be number 6.
Okay.
I move for its approval.
And you're just adding that to the, okay. Anybody got a motion to amend the agenda? Got a second? Second. Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we'll just drop down and do that then. So we'll do business items first. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. Okay. This is a resolution confirming the reappointment of Amber Lynn George as a board member of Cherokee Nation Foundation. Does a good job being there. They've got a good team that's over our foundation board, and we appreciate her just taking time and making that commitment to help us with our Cherokee Education Foundation. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to reaffirm Amber Lynn George to the Cherokee Education Foundation. Motion and second. Any discussion? Yes.
I'd just like to be added as a sponsor.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. You want to be added as sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Amber Lynn George, are you here? Okay. You have anything to say?
No, I just appreciate your comment, and it is a pleasure to serve the Cherokee Nation, supporting education to educate our future youth. It's a good situation.
Okay. We thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let us go ahead and get through with this new business real quick. It's not going to take that long. Next resolution, Councilor Hargis. You want to take that?
Yes, it's a resolution confirming the nomination of Wilfred Gernat as a governing board member of the Cherokee Nation Comprehensive Care Agency. I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wilford, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you got anything to add?
It's a great honor to be able to help provide health care for our elders. Thank you for the
We
opportunity.
appreciate you. Congratulations.
I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Okay. Rex, sponsor. Me too.
Me also, Chief.
Yeah. Most everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next resolution, Councilor Thornton.
Go ahead.
And Carter?
Oh, a resolution confirming the reappointment of Dan Carter as a board member of the Cherokee Nation Businesses, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes.
Added as a sponsor.
Sponsor?
Me also.
Okay. Looks like we got a bunch of sponsors here. Yeah. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Yes.
I was raising my hand for discussion.
Okay, discussion, go ahead.
Mr. Carter, this is nothing personal. The folks in my district that I visit with quite a bit, they've been telling me a lot lately that they would like this body to control more of their money. So, and I agree, and I know that's a big battle, but I think my position will stand with them. Nothing personal, but I'm gonna be a no on the board.
Okay. All right, we have one extension. Let's, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, had one. Okay. Councilor Austin.
This is a resolution expressly agreeing to choice of law and venue and authorizing a waiver of sovereign immunity of the Cherokee Nation in connection with the software agreement with Municipal Accounting Systems, Inc. We did this same exact thing, I think, just a few months ago relating to the immersion school and their software they need in order for accounting to the state. And so this is just updating it for 2017.
Yes. Chrissy, I have to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
For the minimum amount of this contract is probably what? You have any idea?
I think this one was $2,500.
2,500? And we're waiving our sovereign immunity?
Well,
Explain.
they say you're entering a contract with us, and if you breach this contract, so you illegally copy our software, or that's what this is for, some type of software, we want to be able to sue you, and we know we can't. So in order for us to do this contract, we want you to agree that if you violate this agreement, now it doesn't open us up to suit for just because they're mad at us. It's waiving sovereign immunity to the extent to enforce this contract. So if we breached this contract and they attempted to sue us without a waiver of sovereign immunity, they couldn't do that. Now, in almost all of these contracts, they're limited to recovering, in this case, it would probably be $2,500. In some of these software contracts, they want to be able to go to court and get injunctions in the event that we illegally steal their property. And although we know that those are things we won't do, with every other entity that they sell their product to, they have that ability, but they don't when they deal with tribal governments. One of the things we brought up last time, and we've talked about in the past, this body has passed legislation that allows CMB with the chief's signature to waive sovereign immunity in certain situations, to enforce certain contracts up to a certain amount. When we did that, we only did it for the business side of Cherokee Nation. We didn't do it for the government side. And for many years, we've talked about a type of law that would allow some of these smaller contracts where we're only waiving to the extent needed for them to be able to enforce that contract if there was a dispute, that we have some type of legislation so every single one of those doesn't have to come before council every time. But we've never done that. So the way we do it now, it doesn't matter if it's a $10 contract or a $10 million contract.
Okay.
If the other party says, we can't do this business with you unless you waive sovereign immunity, we have to bring that to the tribal council. A lot of these we're able to negotiate out and we don't have to bring to, but when they, stick their heels in, and this is a system that in order for us to report our numbers to the state of Oklahoma for immersion school, we have to use this software. There's not anyone else available, so we're kind of a catch-22 that we have to contract with them, and they won't contract with us unless we get a waiver. So that's
good explanation. Appreciate it.
This is the exact same one. We're just getting a jump on the next school year.
Okay. Still in discussion. We had a motion. Councilor Lane.
We don't have a motion.
Yeah. Sorry.
We don't have a motion.
No, we're good.
Yeah, Chief, I just, you and I have talked about this stuff before, and I would like to make a motion to strike, but, I'm thinking it's going to be voted down. These waivers are starting to bother me. We're seeing them more and more all the time. Sometimes these waivers are for our, lack of these waivers are for our protection. And I guess I'll just vote no on this. I'll tell you what, let me throw this out there. I'm gonna make a motion to strike the waiver of sovereign immunity. Put that in form of a motion. See if I can get a second on it.
Second motion.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Hey, Speaker.
Yes.
By him striking this, will this, will this still, will the agreement still be good to go, or as for the software company?
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Striking the term sovereign immunity would make this resolution pointless.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it would be defeating the entire purpose. Actually, under Robert's Rules of Order, an amendment that would make the resolution ingermane would not be properly in order. The proper procedure would just be vote against the resolution. But to make an amendment to gut or poison pill the resolution would not be germane. I just put that out for information. But to answer your question, it would render the resolution pointless.
Yeah, thank you, AG. Thanks, Speaker.
Okay.
Speaker, I can do either one always.
Yeah,
I'll pull it.
I don't truly believe what the man just said,
I think if you got a point of order, and you take this resolution and table it indefinitely, that would do the same thing. So,
And I understand, and
I don't think it makes any difference what you strike the.
I don't see any problem with it either, but I've got an attorney general who says his words are law, and it's difficult to debate that.
How you want to do it, Counselor Lay?
Let's just go ahead and vote on it,
Okay.
striking it, and if it fails, that's okay. Thank you, Chief.
If it fails, then, okay. All in favor to strike the waiver of sovereign immunity, say aye.
Hold on. Are we voting on this, or are we voting on what Counselor Lay's?
Councilman Lay.
Just to strike.
Now, I'm the sponsor of the bill. Don't I have the opportunity
It's
to
not
accept
friendly.
that
It's not a
before
friendly-
it's
It's not a
voted
friendly
on?
amendment, sir.
Okay,
It's a
but I
motion.
have to accept the friendly amendment, is my
Yes,
point.
It is not a friendly amendment.
Okay, I'm trying to understand
Yes.
procedure.
So now we're just going to vote yes or no on it.
Okay, yes does what, no does what?
Well, yes strikes the waiver of sovereign immunity, which just makes the agreement null and void.
Call for roll call.
Okay, we're still in discussion here.
It's,
We had a vote, and we hadn't decided yet.
Yeah. I'm letting Counselor Austin, the author, finish his point. Counselor.
so striking the waiver of sovereign immunity makes the law null and void.
Yes.
That's as I would understand it. What's this doing to our immersion school's ability to conduct business?
It won't do anything till we find out how the vote comes out.
Very quickly, if I may,
Okay.
if this is not passed,
Okay?
or if that language is struck that says waiver of sovereign immunity, or if the bill fails, either one, it means the chief cannot sign this contract, the immersion school cannot use this software the next school year to upload their
Yes.
numbers.
Yeah. The council members, are you aware of that? You know what you're doing here? Okay. So we got a motion and a second to approve this and striking the waiver of sovereign immunity. Roll call vote, Shelley.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Joe Byrd,
No?
Sean Crittenden,
No.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
No.
Wanda Hatfield, Rex Jordan,
No.
Dick Lay,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
No.
Janice Taylor. No. David Thornton,
Yes.
Victoria Vasquez,
No.
David Walkenstick,
No.
Brian Warner,
No.
Bill Anglin,
Yes.
Keith Austin,
No.
Jack Baker. We have 5 yes and 10 no, it fails.
Okay. Next resolution is,
We need to do a motion to approve as
We never did
placed in the
approve
book.
Keith
That was
Austin.
just on the motion to strike.
okay.
But we need a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
Okay, Counselor Austin made the motion, needs a second.
Second.
All, second, discussion? Yes, Counselor Lay.
Thank you, Chief, and I thought that would happen. That's fine.
Well, you made your point, though, and that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah, and that's okay, but one thing that comes to my mind, for that kind of a contract, there's more than one company out there. I mean, if you've got one, these types of things are not one only off the shelf. There must be 10 of them sitting on the shelf waiting to be purchased. And that's my point. Thank you, Chief.
Yes. Okay, the next is the Cherokee Nation Free Flow of Information Act.
We need to vote.
Did we vote on that?
No.
Resolution.
Okay, back to the motion. We got a second here. Okay, discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed?
Opposed?
Okay. All right. Now can I move on? Okay. This is the discussion Cherokee Nation Free Flow of Information Act of 2010. I've brought this up a few times, and the IT system, the data that we have here, would provide us information when we have questions on how many times a person may have been served. And we need that information for us to make better decisions for the council. And it could save the tribe, millions of dollars there if we got this data information. But the three departments that I wanted to propose to you guys for discussion only, I would exempt health in this because there's a lot of proprietary information there, but I would do Diane Kelly's department, higher education, then Marshall Lamb's. Because those are the three that we're constantly dealing with, and I need more information when we're talking about a tribal member. How many times have they been served? How many times have we helped them with rehab and some scholarships and general assistance? If I had that information as a council member, I could make better decisions for the tribe. And right now, we're just shooting in the dark. We don't know how many times we've helped these people. So that was just discussion only today, and I throw that out for you guys. I'll bring a resolution back next month and see where we go from there. But I'll open it up for discussions. Councilor Taylor.
And I have a question. We have talked about this before, and are they going to share data back and forth? Because the issue comes up all the time. They've applied one place. A lot of our citizens don't know. When they walk into an office and they're wanting to apply for help with, say, housing, Marcia's got some of those programs.
Mm-hmm.
The Housing Authority has some of those programs.
Yes.
And the citizen thinks they've applied for everything we've got. And so will there be information sharing amongst the departments as well, is my question. Maybe, perfect world, one application. That would be awesome too.
I think that would be a good recommendation, Councilor.
Okay, so it's possible to make that a part of this?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Councilor, quick.
Speaker, I see the benefits being, kind of leaning toward what Councilor Taylor's saying, because I have some that apply for human services, and some of the households, I've been guilty of it myself, a Social Security card is missing, holding up that person from getting help. Mm-hmm. And where maybe one of these other departments have a copy from the last time, they applied at another apartment and they could share, and Marcia's department's good about that, doing that anyway.
Yeah.
But I see that helping, but I sure, on the other hand, I wouldn't want it to prevent in any way someone from getting help.
Absolutely.
Because we got good people, but sometimes it's hard enough as it is without having that police thing.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, nope, you've already, and I wouldn't want it to go that way either.
Sure.
But I see some benefits. Thank you.
Yeah, it would be to enhance the programs, not to prevent anybody from getting served.
Well, I like that part
Yeah.
of it.
Okay. Councilor Austin, Jeff?
The thing I see that would benefit is folks who have legitimate need aren't going to be denied because somebody else has used all the resources who didn't have legitimate need. We want to make sure that the needs are legitimate.
Well, we just disagree on that deal. I feel like every, and I'm not campaigning, I like a long ways for that, but I believe every call is legitimate. And,
I don't believe I just said they weren't, so I don't want to be accused of that.
Right, but more legitimate than others.
Okay.
Leaky faucet, a house, so.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
just
We're going to
gotta
move
do-
on. Thank you, guys. Councilor Lay?
Thank you, Chief. If you and Janice could get together on those those are both two good ideas, by the way. Anyways, we do limit some things on the Housing Authority. I know I've run across folks who have had housing help 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But their thing that they got help on has got a 7-year lifespan.
Yeah.
We can't do anything for that 3, 5, 7. There are several viewpoints there. And I've got one person who got help on a mobile home, and the help wasn't that well done. And so at some point, this person advanced themselves to where they now have good employment and can afford one of our new homes. But can't put that home on that property because that mobile home is still sitting there with that long-term note on it to the tribe. And at some point, it just seems a little bit out of place to me. I felt like they can move over 20 feet, leave the mobile home there, get around it somehow, but we can't do that.
Yeah.
Housing can't do that. So there's another aspect of how we might help people.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Counselor Buzzard.
And I think this is an excellent idea, and I know we have talked about this for the last 25 years here, and just nobody has said, let's do it. Just a prime example of what these two guys are talking about. This little old lady goes up there 3 months ago and gets her floor fixed, and she goes back 3 months later and needs a hot water heater. She said, Harlan, I've got to fill that whole application out again, and it's about 10 pages long. She said, why can't they just update the application? Now, when she goes back the second time, they require that she bring her deed, bring her income, bring her social security card, and bring all that stuff. So I think it's an excellent idea. Why couldn't we just go back and, you've listed 3 programs, and basically they all ask for the same thing. And if you need to copy the deed, just go to one of these programs and pull it up. I mean, you should be there on the computer. It would just stop a lot of, I guess, a lot of unnecessary paperwork for these, and I'm talking mostly elder people.
Yeah.
But you got young people the same thing, you know, they got to pull their deeds up and mortgage payments up and stuff like that. So I think it's an excellent idea. I think it would help a lot of people. It's
Sure.
cut the paperwork down tremendously a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Anybody else? Counselor Walkenstick.
Paperwork's the biggest thing on emergency rehab, the big application. We heard an elder talk about that the other day at our elder dinner. She said that the application's too thick. And if this will cut down paper, then it's money well spent. And if Ron Qualls or anyone else who listened to this meeting, the application needs to be decreased tremendously. It needs to be maybe a 1 or 2 page form. Thanks, Speaker.
Yeah, and another thing too is it holds, and Counselor Lay said it correctly, we want to make sure the rehab is done correctly and efficiently. And it'll help us when we go back to somebody that's already been helped and we have a question, we can look it up and say, well, you helped this person with a handicap ramp 3 years ago, but you didn't do it right. Okay? It holds everybody accountable. So this is a good thing if we put the correct wording in it, and I accept everybody's input on it on this, okay? Appreciate it. Anybody else? Thank you very much. So we'll just, that was just for discussion, and we'll bring some type of resolution back next time. Okay, moving back to old business. Counselor Walkenstick.
We didn't do my last new one, number 6.
Oh, you sneaked one in?
She did. I did.
Okay, boy, we've been seeing that all day
Listen
long.
to me now.
Okay. You're up, Mrs. Vasquez.
This is a resolution confirming the appointment of T. Luke Bartow as a district judge of the Cherokee Nation District Court. I move for its approval.
I second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Is the gentleman here?
Yes.
He's kind of young, but he looks smart.
People used to say that about me. And they still say I look young. Mr. Chairman, by way of introduction, I want to introduce Mr. Luke Bartow. Mr. Bartow is an attorney in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a Cherokee citizen, and an at-large member. He is been for the last 3 years.
Yes,
3 years, a member of the Cherokee Nation Free Press Board. We appreciate the fact that the council has amended the agenda to consider this appointment with the untimely departure of Judge Fight. It leaves a huge hole in our court system. We need to have that filled expeditiously. We have Indian child welfare cases, we have criminal cases, we have just a plethora of types of cases that cannot wait. So we can't be a judge down. Mr. Bartow is an excellent choice, and I am proud to introduce him to the committee as an appointment by Chief Baker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You had a motion, and we had a second, correct?
Yes.
Okay, discussion, any questions for our gentleman here? If not, okay, Counselor Buzzard?
Yes, I have a couple of questions here, and I'd like to give Mr. Bartow a chance to give us his resume and talk a little bit about himself. But my question is, are you registered to vote in the Cherokee elections?
Yes, sir.
Have you participated in the Cherokee elections?
I have voted in elections, yes.
A lot of them?
I can't count, can't tell you how many exactly.
Okay. The other question I've got, do you have relatives that works for the Cherokee Nation or the Cherokee Nation entities?
Yes, sir. My mother is Lisa Long.
Okay.
She is retired but under contract with C&B as I believe it's government relations. And she spends the other part of her time as Gigi to my 2 sons.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, Counselor Taylor.
I just want to say that I do some work with DHS concerning children whose parents have made bad decisions. And I had a chance to visit with Luke a little bit prior to this meeting. And he brings to our judge system extensive experience in matters of equal law and that sort of thing. So I'm thrilled about this because I think you will bring a knowledge and experience regarding our children that I think will be good. So I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
And in my firm, I am the adoption attorney, the juvenile, whether it's deprived or delinquent attorney, guardianships, all aspects of equal law through my firm come to me, and I handle those matters.
I'm looking forward to having it.
I will also say, in private practice, I have represented clients in 24 of the Oklahoma counties. One thing I have noticed as far as ICW work, the education is very lacking with the private attorneys. And one thing I did when I was chair of the family law section for the Oklahoma Bar Association was bring in Chris and Nemo to help educate our family law attorneys throughout the state on ICWA issues.
Yes, Counselor Austin.
I had the honor of serving on the editorial board with Luke where he acted as chair in the untimely death. Thinking about this, you replace guys who die untimely, don't you? John Schur. And he stepped in, did a phenomenal job. He did a phenomenal job in another case where he was stepping in where somebody had left a big void. And it was an honor to serve with you then. It's an honor to support you now. I saw his even temperament, his wisdom that is far beyond the years that show on his face. And he is a passionate and compassionate man.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Warner.
Luke, I sat in on a lot of steering committees in the last month or so, hiring folks, and not that this is a job interview, but give us tell us why you're qualified for this position.
I started my career in the law in 2009 when I started working for attorneys out of Tulsa and law school at TU. Since that time, I've immersed myself in educational opportunities, continuing legal education. I have been a trial lawyer and licensed to practice law in tribal courts, federal courts, and every court within the state of Oklahoma. I represent clients on every aspect of the law, whether it's family law issues, civil issues, criminal issues, probate issues, full spectrum. I have represented clients in appellate work with the state of Oklahoma, and on my giving back side, my philanthropy side, I help teach other attorneys about the law and how to represent their clients. I help judge trial competitions, and one week during the summer, I'm faculty within the Oklahoma Trial Advocacy Institute, which teaches attorneys how to put on a case, and I help judge them on their performances, and at the end of the week, I help them put on a full trial. Other than that, I very grateful to the Cherokee Nation having helped me through scholarships and such through undergrad and through TU Law, and I really look forward to, hopefully look forward to giving back to the nation in this role.
I'll tell you one thing, I've got a friend in Sequoyah County who's a district judge. A lot of them looked at him like he was young, and he was an appointed judge. He lost an election down there, and he deals a lot of child cases, DHS cases, and the biggest thing that he's told me is being educated in those areas and doing those things. And there was a lot of folks that had doubts in him because of age and experience, but now all of those folks have come back and stated that he's doing the best job, a better job than they ever expected. So, you know, that, not that I know about Luke, about what I knew about my friend down there, what he's done, and I sure appreciate what you have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Thornton?
Put me down as sponsor, please.
Okay. Anybody else? We have a motion and a second? Yes, Councilor Critton.
I of course, just met you today, and it's pretty timely finding someone to fill the position. And you know, we've all got our thoughts in our head about how we find people and who's related to who, and we all have those thoughts. But I'm really impressed. So I'll be supporting you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody? Councilor Walkenstick.
So roughly you're 29, 30 years old?
33.
33. Okay. Well, a guy once told me is that you're never too young to lead. And you know, I ran for council when I was 25 years old, and a lot of people said, you know, this guy's inexperienced, too young, and so I like the idea that there's young people stepping up, because being in leadership is really difficult. You take kids from all different angles, but it takes a lot of courage to have the want to come in that position. So I commend you for wanting to step into this position. Anyways, with saying that, I did have some hesitancy about some of that, but I put myself in your shoes, and I think every person needs a chance, and so you have my support.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best in learning while you're young, and this will be a good opportunity for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Speaker.
Okay.
Sponsor.
Okay, got sponsors going up. Let's vote on this first. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
1. So we're good. Congratulations. I think you're just about as old as Walkenstick. But anyway, we appreciate you wanting to do this. It's a difficult task to replace a judge fight. The guy was first class. He brought, you know, sophistication and justice to our tribe, and we wish you all the luck, and I know you'll do a good job.
I'm greatly honored for this opportunity, and I look forward to doing my absolute best to fill his shoes the best possible.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Okay, let's go back to human resources. Dr. Morton, see what happens when you take a phone call from your wife?
Why?
I apologize.
You're
I was
good.
giving directions out in the hall.
Okay.
Last month, you had asked me about the participation rates for 401k.
Yes.
And for the people that are eligible, the employees, we have a 59% participation.
Okay.
And so I went ahead and brought a packet.
Thank you for
that I can leave here with you, that this is basically what we give to everyone when they come on board, with the facts and information on how much we match for the money you contribute. And
What is our goal for that? I know 100% is a goal, but what realistically, what is good? 59 is not bad.
Not bad.
Yes.
as long as we continue to get the message out about what we offer, I think that you can modify how much you put in. If you don't do it when you first come on board, you can do it at some point later on.
Okay.
And I believe for the matching, you have to be here 6 months before we start matching.
Yes. Very good as good as anybody's in the country.
Very nice.
Yes. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Morton here? Well, good report.
Thank you very
much. Okay, going back to old business, Councilor Walkenstick, you're up.
Thanks, Speaker. Okay, this is a resolution for the Council of the Cherokee Nation to require a confidential report monthly of all charitable donations and surplus equipment of all subsidiaries in the Cherokee Nation. I'd like to put that into a form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes, Councilor Austin.
I want to make sure that in the work group, what we agreed to, I see some conflicts in the wording here that I want to make sure are all brought to light here. In the resolution, at the first, it says the resolution for the Council of the Cherokee Nation to require. In the end of that, I thought the email exchange had said something about shall ask for. Is that correct,
Yeah,
David?
request.
Okay, so that did not get in this final draft here.
Councilman, if you're requesting a friendly, I accept it.
Okay, well, there's 2 or 3 more places.
Okay, all right.
That needs this attention.
Okay.
Now, in the be it resolved section, it says, be it resolved by the Cherokee Nation, the Council of the Cherokee Nation shall be provided with a confidential monthly report of any charitable expenditures or surplus equipment and sale of surplus owned by Cherokee Nation business or subsidiaries thereof. The tribal council shall be provided notice in advance of all such proposed transactions. I'll just stop there. Both places where it says shall be, I believe that was intended to be wishes to reflect the same language in the fourth whereas paragraph.
I accept it.
Okay.
Who's seconding that?
We had Councilor Crittenden.
You accept those, Councilman Crittenden?
Right, I accept to make it match the wording.
Okay. Speaker,
Yes.
if I may, I just want to commend the work group. There was a bunch of different angles that people took on this, and I'm glad that we got something in place to protect our shares at C&B, and so anyways, just I thank you for everyone's input.
Okay, Councilor Crittenden, you good with all the friendlies?
Yes, can I?
Sure.
I just want to be clear, we changed it to wishes to. I asked Jack Baker, the terminology, and he said, because I want this stuff, that's why we had the work group, right? And, but, the wishes to, and we will ask them to, that's just to match up the language, am I correct still? Because that, I kind of like the required to, but if it's all one and the same, Jack seemed to think it was, but yeah, I'm good with that.
Well, Speaker, I think the purpose of that is us as a tribal council, I don't think we can't force C&B to do anything due to them being autonomous and having their own board. I think that's why Councilman Baker came with that language. We can't force them to do anything, but we're wishing them to do that and visit with Sean Slayton, and he's willing to work with this body to be sure that there is transparency in that.
Sure.
We're helping them in the cause, vice versa.
Well, you had good guidance in Councilor Baker. He seems to know what he's talking about.
He's a good hand.
Yeah. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion before we vote? Are we good, Shelley? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, good job. The next one, Counselor Baker is up for a very prestigious position. I think, someone may correct me here, I think he's up for president of Oklahoma Historical Society. Is that correct?
Yes, I was
So
gonna
he
ask
had-
that, so thank you for stealing.
Yes,
my
he
thunder.
had to be there today because if he's going to be elected to a position, it wouldn't hurt to be there. And there's where he is, and we hope everything goes okay. We can congratulate him. Is this it? Okay. Oh, I apologize. Counselor Taylor, why don't you take over from there?
Okay, so Counselor Baker is not with us today because he is at the Hard Rock with the Oklahoma Historical Society. He has been nominated to be the president of that group for the next 3 years. And I know as a council collectively on items of history, he's our go-to guy. And so I can't think of a better person to represent. He was torn between the fact that he had responsibilities here with us and doing that, but I feel like they will benefit from him just as we have.
Absolutely.
And so I want everybody to know he is in no way shirking his responsibilities. He just had to make a choice today, and we only have one Jack. So
That's
we
right.
wish him well in that election.
Okay. I think he's going to do well. We should know pretty soon. Okay, that concludes our agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Baker was supposed to bring us something on the cemeteries. He didn't.
Who was this?
Mr. Jack Baker was gonna do something on the cemetery.
Yeah.
Promised to bring it in, didn't he?
Yeah, we just have to let him do it, and we'll hold him to it next time.
We need to do old business number 2.
Oh, the one that he's not here for?
Motion to table.
Yeah, got a motion to table. Okay, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, next meeting date, Thursday, May the 16th.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We are